Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, sorry about the beginning intro. Had a little bit of trouble switching to the right mic. Hopefully it wasn't too bad of a noise, but now we are all set. Welcome to Mobile Weekly / Mobile Q&A. We welcome all the latest news that happened during the week of mobile and tech and answer your questions live. If you have a question you want to ask, just ask it in the comments section down below, and I will answer it before the end of the show. All right, guys, we are going to start off, and we have a lot of news today. Please let me know and comment on the news you're most interested in and what you're excited for the most. Definitely the first one is both exciting and possibly saddening for two reasons. And that is, we do have the date for Samsung Unpacked, and it is July 10th. Now, this comes courtesy of Sam Mobile. They have said that they have several sources that have confirmed it will be July 10th. As we know, that's a little bit earlier than traditional Samsung announcements. Typically, it's at the end of July, and the launch is mid to early August at times. Now, it looks like the announcement will be early July and come out at the end of July. So it looks like we will be getting the Fold series and the Flip series in July, which is really cool because that is, again, a 3-week time difference from what we usually get. However, the thing that kind of has me sad is that I do not think that I might get an invite this time around because it is in Paris. Typically, when it's the international ones, like 2 years ago, last year. Last year when it was in Korea, Samsung obviously limited the amount of people they invited. As where earlier this year it was in San Francisco, pretty easy, and I did get finally paid for to go kind of thing, which was really nice. They covered the travel. This time around, I'm curious to see how it will go. Obviously excited to see how Samsung comes about, with hosting it in Paris with the Olympics. There might be a tie-in and all of this kind of stuff, but I'm definitely curious to see how it will go in terms of the launch, because that means that we should pretty much have final rumors kind of solidifying within 30 days. Typically, when it gets to late June, early July, we kind of okay, this is what the phone will be. Now, really, we should be getting that towards the end of May. So, very curious to see what all the rumors will solidify as, and we have colors and storage in a little bit. But I think the one question that everyone is wondering is, will there be a Galaxy Fold 6 Ultra? And more importantly, if it is true, will it come out in the US? Or essentially anywhere outside of Korea? Because right now, the only model number that is confirmed to be what could be an Ultra is set for Korea and no other country. I think if Samsung did any Q&A, they would definitely realize that it would be a very easy thing to do. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. All right. Then we finally have some news on the Galaxy Watch 7. I know a lot of you have been wondering about, hey, we haven't had any news on the Buds or the watch for a while, and this is our first bit of news. And that is that it should be a first for monitoring blood sugar monitoring. So that is really obviously very important and non-invasive too. You're not going to have to prick your finger to have your blood oxygen detected. The biggest thing that I feel is that although this could be announced, we'll have to wait and see what will come of it. Now, what I mean by that, well, it could be announced, but when new when new health sensors come out, it can take up to a year for the FTC to give their blessing and give their go-ahead that yes, you can use it, or no, we're not going to approve this for anything. I myself, I myself don't have any kind of form of diabetes. It is something that is in my family as we get older in age. As my brother has it, and then my grandmother had it and things like that. So it's something that I look out for, obviously, but something that I'm very curious to see. That this could be a great way to kind of monitor it more closely and more on a everyday basis, or more so every hour basis, right? Because the big thing about this is, you have to you monitor it when you actually take the time to do it. Some people only do it once a day, some people do it twice a day, some people do it, just when they like, oh man, I don't feel good, let me monitor and see. The fact that this might always do it like every hour per se, automatically for you, is a great leap forward, I think, in technology. And look, I'm sure, Apple and Samsung are going to come out with this at similar times. And it will be, the both getting it forward will make sure that this technology moves ahead. So I'm all here for it. When it comes to anything in the health thing, let's make sure that everyone gets it so that it could help everyone. All right, then we have some news on colors and storages. So it does look like the Flip 6 will come in at 256 and 512, which has been the standard for the past few times. It does like the Fold 6 will continue its last year tradition of 256, 512, and 1 terabyte. I still have not needed the 1 terabyte, but I will say that I'm past, like, I think 300 gigs, if I'm not mistaken, on my I have taken up 353 gigs on my S24 Ultra. So I know I do need to delete some stuff, but it's just something that, hey, it's taking up a lot. So yeah, just something I'm cautious of. In terms of colors, it looks like we will be getting a few colors, and that is going to be the for the Fold 6, going to be the dark blue, light pink, and silver. Also, the dark blue is going to be just called navy, and the silver will be called silver shadow. Hey, they combine two Sonic characters. And then there's more colors, of course, coming in black and white, which will be the highest yielding colors that are sold, because those are the ones that sell the most. So very curious to see how these all turn out. But yeah, I've liked the colors on the Folds for the most part. They kind of went away from the green, which I'm kind of sad about. I am curious about the difference between the white look and the silver, because if it really is good looking white, that might be a clean kind of look to it. But I think last year when I ordered it, I went with the dark blue, which I might go again if I order it this year. Although last year I returned it, I do plan on trading in, the the Fold 4 that I have for this phone. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Hopefully the trade-in value is good. Also, we have an update. So some people got worried, or not sure if they should be worried, about a couple months ago when we got a Flip 6 prototype with 8 gigs of RAM. And that is very interesting because, it had a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 and 8 gigs of RAM. So it did have this year's top processor, but also 8 gigs RAM. Now, this time around, we have another model that leaked, but it has a Snapdragon Gen 8, 8 Gen 2, and with 12 gigs of RAM. So that's just kind of confusing because between those two, I would honestly probably want more RAM than the speed. But so now it's kind of like, okay, maybe was one of these meant to be, what we were going to get, and then one of them's taking over now? Or is this going to be a Flip 6 and a Flip 6 FE version? But what would be the FE version? Because I would prefer, again, more RAM than I would prefer a faster processor, because the processor difference was minimal from the Gen 2 to the Gen 3, to be honest. And it's really like, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I would prefer more RAM. So I'm curious of which one would be the FE version in this one, which would be the regular one. We'll have to wait and see. All right, Apple is coming out with new tablets, and these are supposedly, finally, after 5 years of rumors, it is supposedly going to be the OLED models. And the reason why I say this is because we have had OLED rumors from the top leakers out there for a long time, and they've never come to fruition. Apple has never been able to do it, and specifically more so because Samsung would have to yield that many. So they are going to have a combination of Samsung and LG apparently, but again, that there will be delays on it because of the amount of tablets that have to be made. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes, but I'm very curious if this will finally come to fruition because, to be quite honest, this has been the number one feature I've always said of Samsung tablets over iPads. Now, I would still say the aspect ratio is kind of a go between thing, but that would be the biggest thing I would say is that you have OLED, which has always been so much better on Samsung than Apple's mini LED in the case of a tablet. And I would say the quality of the mini LED, because obviously, Apple wasn't going to get the highest quality mini LED for their iPads. They're more cost efficient, so they're not going to spend top dollar on it. But they were mini LED, but not as close to, say, the quality of some of the TV mini LEDs that have been out there, which are much higher nits and much better quality. So overall, I am very curious to see if this finally comes to fruition. And I'm sure it will. All the rumors are pointing to it now, but again, we've heard that for over 5 years that iPad were going to go OLED, and they never have. So I'll have to wait and see. It's the same thing about like, oh, well, Apple's going to introduce micro LEDs soon, and micro LEDs are too expensive, which is what I've been saying that they won't do that forever. But the rumor happens every year, so I'll have to wait and see how that goes. All right. And this was something that I literally said last week, and it is great that it is right. Um, I was telling everyone, there was, what was it? Pebble Bee and another brand that were the only ones that were doing Google Find My Devices, right? And I was like, I would personally, you could get these, but they are charging top dollar for it, and they'll probably be less expensive when another brand releases them. Bam! 1 week later, Eufy announces that they will be making works with Android Find My devices that basically are just like their current set, but an Android version. So I am very happy about this because this is exactly what I wanted. A more brand that will obviously work with everything Eufy already have. It's a better ecosystem in my opinion, and I know the quality that they provide. And it's not, a startup company per se. So I trust in this a lot more. Now, these aren't coming out till June, so it is going to be a month later than the launch of Pebble Bee. But Pebble Bee is acting more and more like it's going to be the end of May now, so it might only be a couple of weeks difference at this point. But this is something I'm very excited about. Now, we do not know as of right now because I told you this guys last week that this network is supposed to work with both works with Android, Find My Device, and Find My iPhone. So the networks are the same, but we don't know yet if brands will opt to sell one that works with both, as in setting it up, or if brands are going to charge separately or for one, and then maybe like a combo version will be a higher cost. Now, I do not know all the specifications on the hardware that will be needed for both. All that I know is that it's supposed to work with both because of the fact that way the network can sense if you're tracking. That way, per se, if you have an iPhone, you can detect if an Android tracker is tracking you, and vice versa. If you have an Android, you can detect if a Find My device is trying to track you from an iPhone. So these are the things. All right. This one is low key, really big, actually. So there is rumored that, of course, both Samsung and Google will enter in to the VR world. And the more I would say not important, but more one that is probably going to happen this year is supposed to be Samsung. They're supposed to launch this year or at the latest next February, or I guess it would be next January now since we're getting Unpacked earlier. That's when it's supposed to launch, right? So that could very easily take over the mainstream one because Apple's is too expensive and Samsung might be 1,500 or 1,000 compared to 3,500, right? But Meta just did something very big and important. They are opening up Quest OS to be like Android essentially, and have an OS that can be used by multiple brands, just like Android was in the very beginning. It was used by HTC, LG, Samsung, all these different companies. And Quest OS can be utilized by Asus and Lenovo, already saying that they will jump on it. Now, the reason why this is so important is because right now the top selling VR by far is the Quest 2 and Quest 3. Quest 2 coming in at, I want to say, $249 now, and the Quest 3 coming in at $499. By far the most sellers. The Quest Pro was probably more of an abject failure, coming in at $1,000. It just didn't do well. But these new prices are very interesting for the fact that we might actually get something very important when it comes to having better quality VR, and more competition always is better, because then we might actually get VR progressing very quickly as opposed to right now, which is at a snail's crawl. So I'm very happy about this. I hope it does come to fruition. We already know that Apple's isn't doing that well. I will still do a video on that one. I know I owe you guys that one. I did a lot of B-roll yesterday for a lot of the videos I was missing on. I have literally, I think I did 4 B-rolls, including for new Samsung mid-rangers, the A25 and the A55. So both those videos are coming out soon as well. So did a lot of B-roll that wanted to follow up with that. So hopefully we'll be getting more videos this week. I know I've said that the last few weeks, but give me time. And then we also have some other leaks. So this one is for the newest Beats Solo Buds and Beats Solo 4. I'm kind of surprised that we didn't get a Beats Solo Plus. Those are one of the ones that I really liked. I have switched back between the new Jabras Elite 10s and the Beats Solo Plus for a while now. I've really enjoyed both in quality. Oh, the Beats Plus does really have a great voice cancellation. The Jabra Elite just got an update supposed to be comparable to it, so I have to test those out. But these are some of the new Beats. So Beats Solos kind of look just like they kind of always have for the most part. Nothing too, you're going to get the longer battery life, so it's going to be 50 instead of 40, and new cushions that are supposed to make it more comfortable. That being said, you're also going to have the Beats Solos. These are going to be the cheaper versions. So they're supposed to be around the $79 price point to basically be an alternative to Apple's own AirPods. But obviously, since they are Beats, they do work better with both Android and iOS as opposed to just iOS. So we'll have to wait and see how these go. And the transparent one this time around is in red, whereas last time it was a transparent in silver, basically. So that's going to be new for Beats. And then we also have one really thing that's kind of concerning now. As you know, I won't talk about the first ban that just happened this week just because, yeah, not going to do that. But I will be talking about a potential ban on DJI drones. This is being talked about in the New York Times, and it's something that's seriously being taken a look at. It's so funny because I think one of the biggest reasons why people often say we need younger people in Congress is because how long have drones been around and this is barely getting addressed? Like, oh, maybe we should kind of, put a calm down on these drones. Drones have been around for a long time now. But apparently it is being looked at like to more minimize drones in general. I think one of the biggest reasons why is, one thing that was federally mandated, I want to say about 4 years ago. No, longer than that, because I was still in the valley at that point. So it had to be 6 years, I want to say then. So 6 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, around that time frame, the new federal law on drones was you had to register it under your name, put your location, everything. So it all is in your information with this attached to this drone's serial number. And the only time you couldn't do that is if it was 250 grams or above. So DJI made a new drone series that was 249 grams and under, called the Mini series. And that is literally why that one was created. But now they're starting to look at it in general to see if it's a good idea to have drones in general, or if they need stricter mandates, or if they need a ban on it. So this is really interesting to see how this will go. But let me know what you guys think. And yeah, what are your guys' thoughts are? Do you own a drone? Have you ever used them? Can you see why they can be problematic? You know, the biggest thing of why I don't personally use the drones, it's because I've lived in Los Angeles County for a very long time, and I think it's in California in general, and most states have a similar one, that you cannot be within a certain amount of miles. I want to say it's 10 to 20 miles in any city. You cannot fly a drone near an airport within 10 to 20 miles of it. It is very hard in LA to fly a drone for that very reason. We have several airports in all locations, from Burbank to Ontario to LAX to Santa Monica to I forget what the John Wayne, I think it's called, in Orange County. So there is just so many airports that it would, like, you're hard pressed to find one that is not within that a mile radius. So it's something that's just always kind of been like, okay, I can fly it, but I could get in trouble for flying it as well. Is it worth it, kind of thing, and all that stuff. You also can't fly it, like, you can't land in national parks, or I think it might be just state owned parks as well. Like, there are a lot of regulations that I was just like, I just can't keep up with it. So that's why I stopped getting drones a long time ago. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. All right. This one was just an update that I saw for myself, and you know, it's really important to me, but I'm curious if anyone has been using it. If you have Android Gemini is the new AI assistant on your phone. I literally uninstalled it because it could not do this, and apparently it's going to be getting this within the next 30 days. So this is live prompts for tasks. Basically, I wanted, like, to set reminders or things like that, like, hey, you know, remind me to do this at 4 p.m. or something like that, and it couldn't do it. And on Android, you either have to choose between Gemini or Google Assistant. You can't have one do the other, kind of thing like that. So it's very annoying, and ultimately I just got rid of Gemini for that reason. But as soon as it gets this new feature, I will bring it back, and hopefully it will be better and give me better answers. And finally, although I am about to review the two Samsung mid-range phones, the cheaper version starts at $249. So I did want to ask you guys if you wanted me to check out a phone that I thought was really cool looking, at least, and that is the TCL 50XL 5G. Currently, just recently announced, and now only announced for Metro PCS. There will be an unlocked version coming soon. But this is a really cool looking phone to me, like really nice looking, for the price of only $159. And it's been a while since I checked out a phone that inexpensive. So just seeing, hey, do you guys want me to check it out? Let me know in the comment section. I think it would be a really interesting one to check out. And of course, all these awesome cameras on here, and more so, a really good battery life and a 1080p display. I will say this. That's impressive considering most motos in this price point are always 720p. So I do give a big ups to TCL for putting 1080p on this one. All right, guys, that was the news. Now I'm going to get to your questions. If you have a question you want to ask, just ask it in the comments section down below, and I will answer it before the end of the show. Hey! Sorry, I just see a friend, DePoets. Everyone tell DePoets happy birthday if you can in the chat. He just had his birthday. It looked like a lot of fun. And yes, I am checking out. I do not have them with me, unfortunately. I don't think so. No, I don't have them with me right now, but I'm checking out some Ray Neo X2 glasses that are pretty cool. The really cool thing about it is it has a camera right in the center, and you can just like record just by swiping. I have some footage of it. I'm going to start posting it soon. And yeah, that's one that I did a bunch of B-roll for yesterday, so you can't expect that video within the next 2 weeks as I give like a full review of it. But you guys know I've been waiting for some augmented reality glasses, and TCL was the first one to come out with it. So yeah, they are a lot of fun. All right, guys. Now let's get to your questions. Again, if you have any question you want to ask, just ask it in the comment section down below, and I will answer it before the end of the show. Whew. Sorry, that coffee's kind of hot. Well, that woke me up. All right. Hey, Ricky, are you how are you? Is the Square Galaxy Watch coming? We haven't had rumors about it since the opening. The last rumor was that the Galaxy Watch 7 would be a square, and the Galaxy Watch 7 Classic or Galaxy 7 Pro, whatever they decided to call this one, they went Pro with the 5, and then the 6 went Classic again. So whatever they decided to call this one, the Galaxy Watch 7 would be still square, or sorry, circle. So square entry level, circle more Pro series. We'll have to wait and see which one we get. Triple intro. Yeah, sorry about that intro. I just wanted to fix the mic before you guys. Hey, I've read the devotes. I use my Radio X2 on the daily now. Hey, man, it's something that's really cool. I was at a TikTok party on Friday that I went to, and it was really cool just being able to boom record video, and it was like pretty cool. Like the quality that I got was honestly like pretty good, even for like the only thing I will say is like I feel like I have to do that. I feel like I have to keep my head down more. So that's a little bright on the screen. But overall, I mean the quality is just really nice looking in terms of it just like really looks clear. Whoop. And like just like really clear quality. So I do like the quality even in like darker spaces, lighter spaces, but at least for me, I don't know if I just naturally have my head go up, but like it's always going a little bit higher, and I learned I had to do this to kind of make sure I get what I want in shot. So that is the only thing that I will say with them. But yeah. Um let's see. Hey Ricky, while ago I go order the iPhone 6 off of Amazon. Oh yeah, you told me that. And they gave me an iPhone 6S. I didn't want the 6S because I like going in back in time. I want the iPhone 6. I mean that's kind of you could tell it's very interesting that you got the 6S but you wanted the 6. Um I'm going to order the 6 off of eBay tomorrow. I mean, sure, if you want an older phone, like go for it. But I think that's kind of, I don't see why it would benefit you to get the iPhone 6 over the 6S unless you just want an older one. But let me know what you think. Um, yes, the square you need to record needs to be better positioned because I have to lower my head too. And so what I discovered, at least from what I've noticed to poets, is a square is actually not the center of the video. Because when I was trying to line up the square and I realized like, oh, there's a square here, I should line it up that way. It's higher than it should be. So the square needs to actually be in line of sight because it's not. So that's, yeah, it's interesting and when it comes to that for sure. Um, but yeah, long time no see. How's it going? Hello, quiet. What is your opinion on NordVPN? I'm trying it for a week now, and it's great, super fast, not too much slowdown. Bundle with Nord, and you got 20% off with Ebates money back. Nord, I find very good. I mean, a lot of VPNs are going to be doing the similar thing. I do like Nord. I remember like back in the day, I used to like Tunnel Bear, but didn't care for that one as much after it got bought out by, I think it was McAfee. So did not like that one as much after that. So Nord is a good one. I think the one that I use is Proton VPN on my phone and on my Android devices. I use that one just because it's free, good quality. But I have heard great things about NordVPN. Nothing really ever bad about it. But yeah, I have no complaints about it. I just personally don't use it. And I would be a little bit worried about a password manager from a company. I've said this before. The only company I would really trust with a password manager is Google and Apple, simply because I think that they would, like, no one's broken into their stuff yet, right? To get people's data and user data. People have broken in and gotten it from T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, Experion. Got people got credit card information and social securities and all. Like, there is a lot of companies that have gotten broken into. If you ask me, would I put my faith in a password protector like OnePass or any of those, or even, I mean, Norton got broken into, McAfee's gotten broken into, right? Google and Apple have it. So for that reason alone, and because of how big a scandal would be, I don't think I'm not as worried about their stuff getting broken into. So that's why I trust them as a password manager as opposed to others. Um, I have a DJI Mini Pro 3 drone. It won't let you take off from fly if you are close to an airport restricted zone. Interesting. I did not know they got that sophisticated. Like I said, it was probably over 5 years ago since I had my last drone. It was like, I think the first DJI drone mini, not even the Mini Pro, it was the mini. And that was the last one I had. I played around with it for a little bit, and then it was just like, man, there are so many restrictions on these things. So that's when I just kind of stopped using it, unfortunately. But that was just me. Um, hey, Ricky. So, Osman, I can't comment on that. Most people know where I work now, and it literally, like, I cannot say anything about it. So yeah. Um, and go watch out for height limits. Yeah. So I mean, and that's the thing. Like, how many people that own a drone will respect the laws of a drone? I think is why it's getting brought up for a potential ban. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But that's like, it's really interesting because drones have been something that we've all been able to buy, access, and have for so long now. To suddenly be restricted or not being able to have it is kind of crazy in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think. Um, Still have the Watch 5 Pro, but ready to upgrade. I didn't think the Watch 6 was enough of an improvement to get me to get it. Hopefully, never will be. Um, yeah, for me, the biggest thing was, the Watch 5 Pro had the much bigger battery. So the Watch 6 Classic, which is the one I currently have, brought the spinning bezel back. If it did not have that, I probably wouldn't have upgraded. I will agree with you on that. So we'll have to wait and see how the time moves forward with that. But yeah, I hope we keep getting longer battery life. There was a little bit of a dip between the 5 Pro and the 6 Classic. So I'm hoping we get a bigger battery on the 7 Pro or 7 Classic, whatever comes out. And yeah, I still don't know. I will try the square one, but I don't know if I would stick with it. That would be very interesting to me. Um, I want the 6 because I want to go older version of apps for nostalgic. Hey, go for it, man. Were you aware that Samsung watches with LTE can't be used without a phone, even if they have the own number? I heard that you had to use it to set it up now. Like, it's a requirement to use it to set it up, but I didn't think you couldn't use it at all. Like, once it's set up, you don't need the phone anymore, is what I thought. I have not heard otherwise. So please let me know if that's changed. His hair is getting out of control. All right. But yeah, those are all the questions so far, guys. If you have any more, let me know. And yeah, in 2 weeks, I will be heading out to New York. So that should be a fun little event. Gonna go from the 13th to the 15th. So on the 12th, depending on it, I might not have a show, just so you know. So that's not next week. Next week I definitely will. But Mother's Day, the 12th, for those you don't know, Mother's Day is on the 12th. On that day, I might not have a show just simply because of the fact that I think my flight is at 6, so I might have to leave like at 4:30 a.m. roughly from my house. So I'm gonna go to sleep early. So yeah, so that's the idea behind that one right now, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. If you are in New York, any good food places I should try by Queens? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, any good food places by Queens? Let me know. What should I try? All right. Um, hey Ricky, anything about battery life on the Galaxy Watch 7? No, nothing yet. The first thing we heard is the news that I gave earlier today, which is it does look like it's going to have a blood glucose monitoring system, which is non-invasive, so no prick needed to be able to tell your glucose level, which is awesome if it has that. What are your favorite watch faces? Do you do a video? Um, I can. I must admit, like I feel like I've had the same one for a while now, which is I don't know the name of it. I'm trying to see if I customize it if it'll tell me the name. MD307. So I don't know what that would be, what the exact name of it is, but that is the watch face that I currently have. That yeah, I like it. I would have to look it up, but MD307 is the one that it's telling me right there. So that is the one that I use, and I just like it because it gives you a digital watch, but it kind of looks like a actual like regular style watch. So sure. There we go. So it gives you kind of all the information you could need on there. Has the actual number, the date, and I can customize this color. So I chose those to have those in red, so they would be easy for me to see. Upcoming events, step level, battery level, weather, and yeah, just everything I could want or need right then and there. So I do really like that for sure. But yeah, how close I am to my step goal every day, and also yeah, how much power I have in there, how much heart rate, everything I could want, battery life of the watch and battery life of the phone, just like everything really cool. So yeah. I have had a New York pizza before for sure. I just the two times I've stayed in New York, I've been by Manhattan, and the second time was in Brooklyn, I believe. So this is my first time in Queens. So yeah, and I know like each borough has like its spots and everything like that. So I had like a good pizza place and bagel place to go to in Manhattan, but I'm not sure about Queens. So if anyone knows any places, let me know. Either online, any of my social handles, just ping me. But yeah, guys, I think we're gonna be wrapping up soon. Again, did a lot of B-roll yesterday, so hopefully I'll get some more videos out for you guys this week. I know I haven't; it's been a while, but hopefully just get some this week going. And yeah, I know I will be much happier if I do. So hopefully I'll get that for you guys. Other than that, I think yeah, so some videos coming again in 2 weeks. We won't have a mobile weekly just because I'm gonna have to sleep really early, and have that. So yeah, I think that's everything right now, guys. I don't see any more questions firing, so I guess we'll call that a night. But if you can, make sure to go ahead and check out some of our recent videos that just posted. I think the last one was 2 weeks ago with Juan, and then yeah, got some other fun stuff coming soon. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it as always. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Thank you so much again for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment down below. Also, follow us on social